for Arfield. What a bully! Scott Arfield! He's been threatening that recently. And all the Burnley players run to the Darwin end.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Turfcast Podcast YouTube channel with me, Joe Redmond. And if you're listening on the podcast, of course, welcome back to the podcast. This is, of course, part 2 of the Andy Cooke interview. And I just want to say, anybody who's said anything positive or anything nice, or anybody that's just watched it and enjoyed it, thank you, because I've never done really anything like this before. Yes, we did the interview with Matt Lawton and Ian Wright and David Jones very early in the journey on this channel. But this time I've done it a bit different. I've actually rented out a studio. I've got my 2 cameras set up. I've actually done it in person, whereas the other ones were all online. So I were a bit nervous to release it. And the fact that it's gone down very, very well means a lot to me. So thank you if you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed this one as well. Obviously, part 1 was more chatting about his time at Burnley, how he joined Burnley and that sort of thing. And his experiences working under Waddle, Stan, his friendship with Payton, his partnership with Payton. If you haven't watched it yet, number 1, I recommend you watch that one first before watching this one, obviously. The link will be in the description and there'll be a card in the corner if I remember to do it. But this one, he talks more about leaving Burnley. He then goes on to talk about the other parts of his career, playing in South Korea, his time at Stoke, his time at Bradford City. And towards the end of his career, when he was let go by Shrewsbury, he actually goes quite deep into that one and explains how it was. He struggled to get over it. It's actually quite an interesting part of the show and something I found very, very interesting. He also does reveal that he nearly came back to Burnley under Steve Cottrell. Now, some of you may know that. I did not know that, and I was quite shocked to hear that. And he goes on to say why he nearly rejoined and why he then decided, obviously, not to come back. As I said at the start of part 1, you're not here for me, you're here for Andy, so let's get into it. Left the club in 2000.
Yeah.
How did that come about? I know you referenced it earlier, you said the club just wanted to go in a different direction, but I presume it's just like a phone call, but we're going to get rid of you, that sort of thing?
Not really. So how it comes about, so I knew, I played a game, I can't remember who we had Oldham, we were in the Championship then I think, we had a few games anyway, I think I was just on fire that game, and I remember I actually properly tore my hamstring that game, but it was one of them games where I was just involved in everything. And from there, I heard that Stoke were watching, so Nigel Pearson was there watching, but nothing. And the gaffer, I had a little chat with him. Said Stoke, just to let you know, Stoke are watching. I was like, but I was injured, so I knew I was out for probably 4 or 5 weeks. But then I came in, I think I got a couple of goals, and gaffer goes. I remember I was training. We were doing a double session. So I knew the Stoke thing was sort of alive, and the Stoke thing was always a bit of a pull for me because down where I live, all my mates are massive Stoke fans, massive. They'd moved grounds. I sort of watched a bit of Stoke when I was younger. Everyone used to think I was a massive Stoke fan, but I wasn't a massive Stoke fan. But all my mates are. They're like just avid Stoke fans. And the gaffer, I remember I getting a thing. He called me in one day. He said, "Would you be interested?" I said, "Probably." Yeah, it was a pull for me, even though they were sort of the league down, but I knew they were sort of similar, trying to do a thing like Burnley. I think I think after I agreed, sort of said yes, I think they got Liverpool, someone beat them about 7-0, I was thinking, oh dear. Anyway, but I remember training, I was training at Gorthorpe, and we were started to do an afternoon session, and one of the lads said, "Oh, Gaffer wants to see you," so I went up to see the Gaffer. Gaffer had to go to the ground. He was back at the ground, so I went to the ground, and he said, "Look, Stoke, we've done a deal with Stoke. Basically, do you want to go and speak to him?" Like, he went now. I was like, "Yeah, sound all right, yeah." He said, "Well, we've done a deal. We've accepted a deal. Well, So I was like, "Right, okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm happy with that." So I didn't really get to say goodbye. So it was a case of I went back to my house because I was living in sort of Oswald Twistle then. I had like a barn conversion thing down there. And I remember going back, getting just chucking some stuff in a bag, leaving. I still remember now. It's like on this bit of a drive, so I was coming up this drive, and I rung my mate again. I go, "Guess where I'm going now?" He's like, "Where?" I said, "You never just guess where I'm going now. I'm leaving training. Well, just left training. I'm going down somewhere now to speak to someone." He went, "No way, Stoke." I went, "Yeah, I'm going to Stoke now." He went, "Fuck, I can't believe it." I said, "Yeah, I'm going." So literally, I put on the phone, went straight down. Nigel Pearson had a lot to do with it. So I remember meeting John Rudge in the office. I remember there was my agent at the time was. I think he was doing. Do you remember the guy at Southampton? I think, bless him, I think he died. But you know the big centre back at Southampton. He was doing a deal. What's his name? Can't remember. I'm rubbish with names. Anyway, he was down there doing a deal down there.
Yeah.
So I ended up negotiating my own deal at Stoke with John Rudge for hours, really, like arguing about. Well, what about if we give you a goal bonus? I was like, I'm a centre forward. Why would I want a goal bonus? I said, if you're trying to chuck extra money at me, give me more money in my wages or whatever, but just don't, I don't want goal bonuses. I don't want, he goes, well, what else can we do? I was like, well, they were trying to offer relocation and all that. I said, just chuck it in my wages. I live down here pretty much. I can move down here. So I'd sort of negotiated my own deal down there, and I sort of never went back. That was it. I never went back to Burnley. I never really said goodbye or whatever. That's just how it ended. I was literally training at Stoke the next day. Nigel Pearson rung me up when I was there, saying just Cooke, I'm absolutely buzzing that we've got you, sort of thing like that. And it was just sort of just going again. But that pull initially was, it was Stoke. It was a big club. I knew what they were trying to do. But it was just the only pull for me was just so I could prove it to my mates. So I understand. That was it. It wasn't anything else. It wasn't even really financial or anything. It was just, can I prove to my mates that I'm running out there and there, instead of them watching whoever, they're just watching me. So that was the only pull for me, really.
Is it a regret then? Not necessarily that you went to Stoke, but that you never got to say goodbye to them. I mean, I guess it happens to a lot.
It does.
Of footballers. You just sold and that's it.
Yeah.
So probably not a personal regret because there's nothing you could have done, but something that you wish you could have done.
Possibly, but you just, I don't know. I think that's football. You know what I mean? That is just football life.
Yeah.
And I said leaving, it's an end of an era, and it's like all them memories and everything, but they're vanished. But you're sort of going into something new. And I think I signed it just after Christmas or whenever it was, something like that. So I think that year we struggled, but the year after we went up. So it all sort of worked itself out there at Stoke. I wouldn't say I had the greatest of times. Probably just not as many goals that I probably should have done, but I still picked every week if I was fit. I mean, again, we talk about, they had some decent play, like Graham Kavanagh, Peter Thorne. Thorne, what a striker he was back in the day. He was absolutely brilliant. We had Pete Hoekstra, Dutch international, who kept Mark Overmars out of the Dutch side in when was Euro 96, was it? We had some top players there. And that we sort of just found a way there with Stoke. But again, just leaving Burnley, I said, you don't really, it's not really something you probably do, is just go and say goodbye, really. Just that's it. It's just time's up and that's it, you move on.
Obviously promoted with Burnley, promoted with Stoke. Which one do you look back on with more fond memories?
Definitely the Burnley thing. I'm not just saying it because I'm sat here. It was just how we sort of did it. I mean, I went up for a playoff final with Stoke, which again was brilliant because I've been in a losing playoff final, which is not great, and I'm winning. But I think just how we did it that year, the lads I was very fortunate to play, the experiences we had. I remember, again, it's just classic Burnley. Obviously the bus, the town hall, the free bar. I don't think I went. I was due to go and do my A licence because I just completed my B licence. I was going to do my A licence that week because we went up. Yeah. I remember we had a free bar at thing. I was driving, so I left my car at the ground because that's where we got on the bus or whatever. I left my car there. My car was still sat there about 3 weeks later because I went from there, had a free bar. We then, meanwhile, I went on holiday the next morning at like 3 o'clock, didn't even go to bed, literally went straight to the airport. And then I missed my A license. I didn't go on the A license course, so should have done that, but I didn't go and pick my car up for about 3 weeks, basically. But it was just everything involved because I think when we went away and then we come back and then we went away as a club, so everyone went away, so it was, everyone, all the lads, the full team, we all went to Portugal for like 3 days or something. Yeah. Which was just, brilliant, just, like going up sort of thing, and that was great. So, yeah, I think your first promotion, I think it was just meant so much, and you could see again to the fans and everything. I'm not saying the Stoke thing didn't, but it was more, it was just such a big thing at Burnley at the time, and obviously with that's your sort of first promotion, that sort of sticks in your mind, doesn't it?
Other parts of your career, then obviously Newtown, Burnley, Stoke. Then you went to South Korea.
Yeah.
I was looking at it today. I'm like, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Is it Busan Icons?
That's it.
Yeah. What was that like? Well, how did that come about? How did South Korea come about?
So it came about where I knew. So my brother-in-law played at the time, and his agent asked him. So I've got to be careful with my brother-in-law. Was, by the way, this is my ex-wife's brother. So dare I say his name or not? So
Please tell everybody.
Yeah. So John Eustace was my brother-in-law, but back in obviously when I was married. But
now Blackburn manager.
Now Blackburn manager. But at the time he was playing, so his agent, I think where was he at the time? Could have been, I can't remember, Coventry maybe. And his agent, I sort of got wind that would I be interested in going to South Korea. So I was like, don't know about, I'm not sure. Ian Portfield was the manager. And it was after the World Cup. And the money was decent. The money was good, and it was tax-free or whatever. And I thought, you know what? It might be the right time. So I had a chat. Tony Pulis called me into the office. He said, Andy, do you fancy a game of golf? So I was like, yeah, okay. So he came in to sort of rescue the club because the club was in a bit of a mess, and I sort of had half a season with Tony, and then I knew he definitely wanted to take the club into a different direction. He loved massive centre forwards and stuff, and I just thought it's time to move on. So I had a game of golf with Tony, and it was just me and him, and he said, would you be interested in going Korea? And I was like, well, sort of just basically I mean, he did it. He wasn't a manager who was basically a twat. He did his just the whole program, instead of getting me in the office and firing me off. We went out a game of golf and a chat and whatever, and just thought he was quite open, would go our own ways. And I said, look, that's fine. I'm happy to have a look at it. So I had a look at it, and all I did again, I'm a bit of a. I just love the old football grounds. Just grew up watching, the old football grounds. I think when I first signed for Burnley, the old floodlights and that. It's just something about that when you're tipping up to a night game. So anyway, so I've always loved stadiums. So I went on the internet and I went, Busan Icon Stadium. So I looked at it. It was like a bloody spaceship. I thought, that'll do. So a lot of the lads were going over there and having a good look round and seeing if it was for them and then deciding whether they were going to play. I just thought, I'm going.
You just saw it on the internet?
I'm going.
Yeah.
Just saw it and just went, let's go. I remember my deal come through on a fax machine. I thought, I'll be just mad, just go and give it a go. So that's what I did, and it was. Joe what? It was good. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was really, really difficult because of just. I mean,
the culture shock.
Not so much. I got fully involved in the culture, but I just seemed to score a lot of goals out there. I mean, I made sort of. They had like a national sort of game. I made like the national team of players and so on. The stadiums were amazing. The culture was great. I think it was just hard because my wife at the time found it difficult because we had our first child, and I remember we flew out. Harry was only a week old. We flew out there. We landed, and because the gaffer said to me, "Come back," I said, "Well, what's happening pre-season?" "Yeah, we're not doing anything for pre-season just yet. We will be, but in about 3 or 4 weeks." So I thought, I bought Harry across. So I literally bought Harry. Say we flew on the Sunday. I was in training Monday, jet lagged to hell. I went into the training. The gaffer called me into his office. He goes, "We're going to Singapore now on Wednesday, and then we're going to Hong Kong." I was like, "Are you kidding?" So basically, I rung my wife at the time. She went, "You fucking joking?" She got Harry straight back on the plane and drove. I remember sitting at the airport going, "What am I doing here? Didn't see him for like six weeks, something like that.
Really?
So that it was little things like that where it doesn't seem hard, but it was quite hard at the time. But actually, I quite enjoyed it. But I was just my life was non-stop. I was I could sleep at the training ground if I wanted to. We used to fly to games. I got fully involved in the culture. Just where I lived was very westernised. It was, I had an apartment overlooking the sea and the beach, and it was just incredible. Yeah. So I had a car. Yeah, everything was just sort of laid on for me.
What was the city called? Is it Busan?
Busan, yeah. So it's like the second city in Korea. So you've got to just embrace it and get on with it. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm so glad I did it because the experience. Yeah. But I missed the. You just miss a Saturday afternoon, or you miss the banter with it. And the banter you're talking with Koreans, so a lot of the lads were just Korean. Yeah. So you just miss the home. You do it automatically. So when I came back, Chris Marsden left. He went into Sheffield Wednesday, and I'd done a deal to go to Sheffield Wednesday because Chris, I think Paul Sturrock at the time, rung me. Chris has got you. He wants you here. I want you here. So I went to do that. So this was about a year and a half. I was there for about 18 months. And when I went back, it was an opportunity, and I thought, Sheffield Wednesday, massive club. Anyway, I couldn't cross. They wouldn't let me sign because I crossed borders, and I had to wait till January. So this was in the back end of November. I was like, it absolutely killed me dead. Steve Cottrell rung me, come and train here. I want to, basically, let's have a look at you. I've not seen you for a while.
And who was he manager at the time?
Burnley.
Okay.
So I came back up here. He put me in the hotel. I lived up here for a week. I trained here.
Right.
He offered me a deal.
Yeah, didn't know that.
So he offered me a deal here to re-sign, but I wanted a year. He said, look, I can only give you 6 months now. So this was like signed from sort of pre-sign back in November, December, and then we'll sign it January. We'll sign it, but we'll sign it to the end of the season.
Yeah.
I was just in the middle of just buying where I was living. My granddad had died. I was in the middle of buying some where I grew up, basically a farm, and I just thought I don't know why I just didn't trust the 6 months. I thought, can you not? Because I was with Steve at, that's another story, but a lot of people didn't get on with Steve, but I just had a connection with him because he was at Stoke for a short period of time before he bailed out and went to Sunderland, but obviously...
I remember that.
So he offered me the deal. The money was all right, but it just wasn't... I just needed that little bit more security because I was thinking I've got so much going on outside the game. I just need to start looking after myself. And I turned it down and signed for Bradford, and Bradford just offered me same money, but they offered me on a 2-year deal, and I just thought 6 months or 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I signed for Bradford. There was a couple of others, I think I could, Blackpool and stuff like that, but I just saw Bradford as a sort of a Burnley, a Stoke trying to get out of that division. And Dino was there, Dean Wynn. They had an art. I looked at the side and I thought, Joe, what, I could probably go in there and help them get up. Because Colin Todd was the manager there, and I signed for them, and possibly not the greatest decision I made at the time. Probably.
How come it didn't work out at Bradford?
I don't know really. It worked again. Talk about partnerships. Me and Dean worked really, really well together, and I think sometimes where I used to get myself down because I never scored, but Dean used to call me in the night and go, "Mate, you were brilliant today.
Yeah.
The amount of work you've done today, and I've scored. I know he scored 2 or 3 or whatever. Dean was just quality anyway. And I learned so much off him, but it just never worked out goal-wise for me. Performance, I scored some big goals in big games occasionally, but just not enough. I think my return was quite poor.
Yeah.
And it just didn't really sort of go how I wanted it to. I was probably doing a lot of travelling at the time. I actually bought back in Burnley, actually. I bought a house because again, I knew the area.
Yeah.
I lived on the back end of Cole. I want to say Colclough or something like that. I bought like a little farmhouse. I was commuting to Bradford, but I was originally sort of commuting from home to Bradford, which was miles. And but Burnley had that pull where I sort of moved and bought a house here again, ish. I said, but it's not really Burnley, but the area anyway.
Yeah.
And I was commuting, but it just didn't really work out.
Do you wish you'd have re-signed for Burnley? Or do you look back and still see the 6 months thing?
I still see the 6 month thing, but again, I think there was. I'm trying to think who was this. So Robbie was here. Trying to think of the other centre forwards. So it was Robbie.
Moore?
No, I don't think Moore was there. What was it? I think he just wanted that, that other striker. And whereas I was going to start every game, but I'd obviously done enough in the training to go, look, I want to sign you again. Yeah. But I probably just didn't back myself enough. That was the thing. I probably just should have backed myself. And you just never know, do you, what could have happened? But just didn't. Said that's history now anyway.
Went on loan to Darlington, but got the chance to play for your hometown club, obviously from Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
I presume that would have been like a boyhood dream?
Yeah, definitely. I went out my way to that. I was at Darlington. I'm trying to think of the manager at the time, ex-Liverpool. Again, I'm so rubbish with names. But he convinced me to go up there. I mean, I was commuting from Burnley pretty well, from some back end of Colne really up to there every day. I was commuting, but then they sort of just gave me less time. The pool was the stadium. And
is that the new one then?
Yeah, it was the new one. So I played in there, but we were just quite poor. I played in that game. This is famous. You would have seen this. Do you remember we played at Bury? Remember the one? I'm the closest one to him, but Brassy played.
Oh, the Brass, yeah.
So if you look at that, so I was there. So I was literally going to close the ball down. Brassy went to clear it. Obviously hit him in the face and went in the goal. I think he broke his nose.
He did, yeah.
Well, that was about the best highlight for Darlington, really, because it was a trek. It was just I think it was just trying to fill a gap. I sort of regret really because I could have gone to Blackpool, but again, people trying to convince you. I just thought, I don't know. I went there. I just shouldn't have probably gone there. The commute was killing me, to be fair. But what happened was, the last game of the season, or one of the last games of the season, we played Shrewsbury. And I played all right. Joe Hart, I had a diving header literally the last minute.
There,
and he honestly, how he saved it, I don't even know how he saved it. I had a diving header, like literally from there into the corner. And he just got across to it. After the game, I knew one of the coaches. I said, what's happening next season, looking for a striker? I said, would you be interested? I said, yeah. So Gary Peters was the manager at the time. And he made it hard work for me, and he was I'd be the first to tell him he was a real twat to me in pre-season, because I went in there to, look, just give me what I'll play, I just want to finish my career there, basically. So I went in there, he made me play every pre-season game. I scored in every pre-season game that year, every single one. I think we played against Bradford, Oldham, whoever we played, I scored in every single game. And basically, I forced his hand. It was a big risk for me because I could have gone signed for other clubs, but I wanted to sign for Shrewsbury. I wanted to finish my career at Shrewsbury. I watched them as a kid. They were still at the old game header then, and I just wanted to play there. Desperate to play there. So I forced it to happen. He had no option to sign me, so he signed me, and we had a good side in the end, and won Gary over. Got on all right with Gary, and we just. I think we made the playoffs, and then we went to Wembley. I scored. I think we had MK Dons basically had already booked the hotel and everything. They thought they were just going to wipe the floor with us. Yeah. We drew 0-0 in the first leg. The gaffer, he left me out for the second game. I went to see him and said, well, this is my last chance. I said, why would you leave me out for the home game and the second leg? He left me out. I think he played someone like Leo Fortune West or something like that. He left me out of the semi-final against MK at home, so I came on the last sort of bit, nearly scored. Then he left me out of the return leg, and we needed to win, but MK was so confident they were going to do it. They booked their hotel, everything, that they were going to Wembley. They had a massive big inside. I think they had, it was the Irish they had Lewington there, the Irish lads, it was at West Brom, and so I can't say I'm rubbish with names. But anyway, they had such a good side, and we went there, and I said to the gaffer, he said, I can remember the game going how it was. I went to see him in the week. I said, this is my only last chance, gaffer, of making it to Wembley. And it was the new Wembley and everything. And whoever made that final was going to be the first English team to play there. I said, this is my last chance. Why would you leave me out? He goes, well, I just think that it gives us a bit of height. We're away from home. I'm going to try and work with the flick-ons and stuff. I was like, well, there's nothing I can do. Anyway, after about 10 minutes of the game, he went to me. He goes, you ready? I said, I've never been so ready. So he goes, right, you're going on at half time. I'm going to change it. Yeah. We were 0-0 at half time. He brought me on. I scored both goals and we won the game. Yeah. 2-1, I think. And we went to Wembley. It was just, and the unfortunate thing was that time we had some really good players. I think there was a lad called Ben Davis who went on to play for Derby and Forest. I think he did Forest and Derby. And he did his Achilles in that game. We lost. The goalkeeper was Cooke tied. Because he come from Bristol Rovers, so they wouldn't let him play. We had another lad who got injured in the warm-up, so we had three massive key players that were injured, and we lost. I think Bristol Rovers must have bought about 55,000 fans. That they filled the whole of their end. Like Shrewsbury had about 20 or whatever. Yeah. And it was we just got beat on the day. It just wasn't our day. But again, my whole plan was to finish the career there. Do me badges there, go for the thing. But I think, Paul Simpson came in at the time. and just wanted his different ways. I never recovered from him letting me go there. So all I said, look, just keep me around the dressing room, keep me part of the team, keep me, my plan B was coaching, be around the time, bring me on a sub last 10 minutes if you want, be a character around the dressing room. I'll go and do my badges. I just want to, I'll coach the kids and whatever and work my way up.
Yeah.
And he just went, just move on. And I never recovered from that. It took me 8 years to recover from that.
Really?
Yeah.
So how come he did that?
I don't know.
Did never really give you a reason?
Just don't know. Whether he saw me as a threat or, I mean, there's loads of players. And I speak to players like Jamie Hoyland yesterday and stuff, and Glenn even, like, sometimes you just they don't want you, or they don't fancy you at the time, or they don't want you around, or whatever. You don't know what it is. It's just that was it. And it took me 8 years to recover from that.
So is that like a low point of the career?
Massively, massively. Obviously, I got to do what I wanted to do at Shrewsbury, but just never, ever recovered from... I think I took a bit of a break from football and I sort of tried to get back in it, but it was too late. It was far too late. And I think what happened is that dampened my confidence so badly. I didn't believe in myself. And like I said, I should have gone and done certain badges at certain times. I just didn't back myself. It's like everything I ever worked for and achieved was sort of just killed in 1 second. I think I could have gone and signed for... there was a non-league side offered me decent just down the road, Telford United, offered me a deal. And I went and agreed it. And he said something to me. He just sort of said, Andy, could I just ask you one question? He said, like, we'd sort of done a deal and everything. I was obviously like 34 sort of that time then. I was like, can you imagine yourself playing at Workington away on a Tuesday? I was like, yeah. Well, this doesn't really bother me. Anyway, I got in the car and I just went, no, I can't. I don't want to go and play at Workington away on Tuesday night. I just don't want to do it. I just wanted to be still at Shrewsbury. And I just phoned him up the next day and just said, I'm not coming. And that was it. And I just said I lost my way for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what to do.
You ended your career at Market Drayton, though.
Yeah.
Is that just like a non-league thing?
It was a non-league thing. It was my sort of hometown club. There was an opportunity in there. I worked with Jimmy again after all them years. So Jimmy, there was like me and Jimmy I was running the club and the team. Jimmy would sort of manage the team and whatever. But I'd have a massive say in everything that was involved in that club, like from the teams on a Saturday. And so I've got a great little story. So Jimmy, we went to Stamford away, right? So Drayton were punching, by the way, because they were a small town club, and we were punching. So we were, I think, Northern Prem or whatever. Yeah. So we went away to, even though it was Northern Prem, but it was still like Stamford were in it, and it's long treks they are from Drayton. It's like nearly 3 hours. So we went across there. There was a lad called Sean Humphreys. So we were picking the team before. So I go, yeah. So we put this lad on the bench. Or we did all the subs and everything. So one of the lads went down after about 5 minutes. So Jimmy's like, Umpers, Sean, get warmed up, you're going on. So anyway, he gets warming up, he comes back down, and he's just warming up. The lad's got injured, the one of the midfielders. He comes off. So I was talking to him, so right, go on, just you need to just sit in there, just weather this storm, right? Because the game had a long start. So get on then. So Umpers going on. The linesman's like, looking at his back, looking at the thing, going, Jimmy forgot to put him down on the team sheet.
Oh, no.
And the lad had travelled 3 hours. He couldn't. He goes, I'm sorry, you can't go on, mate. I was like, you kidding me? Honestly, I just couldn't. It was just typical. Yeah. Of just at times just Jimmy of what because he was great. He was just his football knowledge, everything was just big, but it's just sometimes it was just. It was just quite comical at times, but again, the poor lad. And
something you expect to see at some league level, isn't it?
Yeah. So funny, but it was just. I think it was just trying to get his way back into football and so on. But again, for Cooke, phones constantly ringing. Lads can't make it on a Saturday. They've obviously been out on a Friday. Don't fancy it. Don't fancy an away trip. You're driving the minibus. You're doing everything. You're doing the kit. You're doing the team, you're doing the minibus, you're just doing training. So I was just doing everything. It was only part time. Again, it was just that's just non-league life. So I had a bit of a go at it, and it sort of just moved on. The club was sort of financially in trouble, and they just wanted to go a different sort of direction, really, and I just sort of, just left them to it.
Obviously retired now.
Yeah.
Done media bits. Got your own business now. What is it you're doing now?
So
did you ever do much coaching or?
Yeah, so I've done coach. I've always done my own stuff, really. So I've done loads of bits of media stuff at Stoke and Shrewsbury, radio work and so on. And coaching, just did my own stuff. So a lot of it would be teams around about Stoke, and I'd just go up and do like some nights I'd do like a Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. It was all right. It was good. Just my own thing. I wasn't working to any particular, I said like modules or anything like that. It was just sort of just looking at your team, looking at your players, and just designing sessions that they'll just find fun. And I worked at Shrewsbury School, which their setup is incredible, their pitches and everything. I worked there for like nearly 6-7 years, just doing sort of the football and other bits and bobs there. But I sort of had the 16s and then sort of would assist with the first 11 and so on. And I had times of it, but it wasn't what you wanted. You always wanted that little bit more. You wanted that involvement with the club or so on. But it just never really happened. And I said I still blame that period of time I lost when I wasn't involved and sort of feeling sorry for yourself and not backing yourself. That's a big regret at the time. But yeah, you sort of move on, and again you sort of go from different jobs. It's not something I want to do. Eventually I just decided to get away from football because it's it eats you alive from the inside, and I thought, you know what, I've got to stop trying to fight it. If it isn't going to happen, it isn't going to happen. So stop trying to fight it and just you'd sort of find other ways of doing stuff. I mean, I've had businesses and so on and different experiences of the outside world, really, because a lot of the stuff, again, I'll be the first to say, when I split up from the ex-wife, your life, everything you sort of had has gone. So everything you sort of worked for has gone, really, and you just have to sort of try and start again. And that's what I've had to do, is just sort of try and start again. So those, wherever they're sort of positioned, I've got 3 kids, I still need to, you have to pay the bills, and you have to sort of find avenues and ways of making that happen. So I've gone into, I've done loads of different things, but telecoms, I sort of had a little way into telecoms and sort of learnt what it works, how it does, what it does. And then had some training in that, and then I worked for my mate for quite a while, just sort of as a consultant, really. And he sold his business, and that led me into other things. But I quite like I like meeting people every day. So generally meeting people about their business, telecoms, really. So just every business needs a phone, internet. So it's just providing them services. But what I love about it it's just meeting new people. I have no issue whatsoever going into somewhere I've never met. I've got an appointment, say, at 10 o'clock in the morning, one at 1, one at 3, and I've got no problem in going in there and just talking, speaking to people straight away about, what their business does, what they need, what they might need. Can we be competitive? Can we do this for you? I haven't got a problem with it. I can just do it, and I like it. You're just meeting people, aren't you? So
sounds good. Do you ever get recognised like doing it randomly, or
no?
Obviously it'll be down in
yeah. So I went.
Shrewsbury
I came up here to do one. It was up the other side near Accrington, and there was a guy who was a big Burnley fan, actually, and I couldn't actually do anything for him, but he wanted me to come like a year later. It was around about now, really. And then there was I went to see someone who was a massive Stoke fan, but it's great because you've got like a little bit of sometimes not. I do like that connection because you can break a lot of ice very quickly, and you can have a conversation and take it a little bit away from what you're there for and what we're trying to do. So it was the same before. I mean, going out in Burnley. I mean, went out in Burnley. I came up the other week for the Arsenal game, and I bought up me missus now and her brother and a friend. They've never been up here before, so I decided to go to the game. We did the Arsenal game, which was great. And then we went. I said, "Look, we'll go in the pub opposite." So we went in there, but like people just remember as if it's yesterday. And then we sort of did like a tour, like a few pubs around Burnley. I mean, it's a year since I've been here, but they've never experienced it. So I just wanted to show them where the ground, where the pubs and stuff like that, because I can remember it like yesterday. I'm not saying we were out there all the time, but we experienced a bit of time there. Yeah. And it's like nothing changes, but you go into a pub and it's like Cooke, and it's like I'm like, why? It's 24 years ago. How do you still remember me? How? And you just do. I don't know what, it's just one of them things. And it was a great, it's just they loved it up here. We had a great time. We had a great night and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's exactly how I said. Let's go into one called the Big Window. I always remember it back in there. There used to be a DJ with like dance music. I said, we'll go in here because it's used to be ran. Go in there. They're still playing the same tunes. It's still packed. It's nothing's changed. It's exactly the same as it was 25 years ago.
What gets me about the Big Window is the window's not that big.
It's not that. Well, I was looking at that because you can't really.
But when I was a kid, I remember I used to go in it every now and then because my mum and dad would be in and stuff, and my dad used to work in bars sometimes, and that window used to be massive to me. Whereas now I'm just like, I can't believe you think that window was so big as a kid.
I could see the window, because it wasn't. I said, we're going to go into that big window. It's there. So I think that's it. Because you're always looking for that big window, but it's never there. Anyway, next to it there was a little estate agents. So we were in the window just having a little nose what houses, how much houses are around there. These group of lads would come across, and they stuck their head over. They went, "Don't buy here. It's a right shithole." All right. And then he started walking off. We were laughing. He goes, "Okay, that's Andy Cooke. It's Andy Cooke." And then they all come over. Do you know what I mean? It's just mad how just something completely random in a street of Burnley all them years ago.
Right, coming towards a natural end of the podcast now. Hour and a half we've been doing, to be fair, so it's gone on a lot longer than I thought it would. We've had some camera issues because the cameras have not been used before. But I'm just going to ask you some quick questions, just some quick answers. Can be one word or whatever, just give a little bit of info. Favourite ever Burnley game? Plymouth?
Tough one. You say the Plymouth. There was a lot there. I think the FA Cup win at Derby when they were in the Prem. That was up there. Again, the following was incredible that day. Absolutely incredible. Because don't know that it was. There's certain games. I think every game is like I said. You just go out and do your job. The Plymouth one obviously sticks out because it was so big at the time. But I think some games just stick out further than obviously the Derby game, the Plymouth game. I remember I scored a goal from about 30, 40 yards out at Walsall once. It just sort of came to me and I hit it. It's a great little clip. I've got a clip of it, and I remember I scored 2 that day, but I hit the ball. It went so, I could see it. The keeper's off his line, so I just hit it back, and it bounced and went in, and there's like a fan, like all the Burnley fans again, they just go mental. There's like a guy that falls over at the back. I think it was just, I don't think I'd actually believe that I could score it. So it's sort of games like that, really. Just I think about any game you score in and just so on. It was just...
I think you've answered my next question already. Favourite Burnley goal? Presume is that one?
I think so. I remember doing an overhead kick as well against Gillingham years ago at Turf. I think, trying to think really, goals. Just the headers will stand out. Obviously the Plymouth game, but I think the Walsall goal, that goal at Walsall, where I've just because you're so far out really, and it was also quick and.
It's mad. I don't remember that goal. Yeah. I don't remember it.
I've got it on Twitter somewhere. Somewhere.
I'll be asking you for the clip for the podcast, don't worry. Obviously, your era now is that era where people buy kits from as old school kits. Like I've got a few now. A few of my friends have got a few. What's your favourite ever Burnley kit?
I quite like the white one, the away one,
Landwehr.
The Adidas. Was it Adidas?
No. That one might have been.
I think it was. It's got like some lines.
Oh, the Blues one. Yeah, that is definitely Adidas. Yeah.
That one, I used to I don't know why, when I put that on, I just really liked it.
You know what? I love that kit as well, and people sometimes give me grief because it's blue and white. Yeah. But I love that kit. That's probably my favourite ever.
It's got like a bit of pale blue in it, and it was all
the lines thin into white, don't they? Yeah, that's right.
And they just sort of. I always thought sometimes, the home kits. I mean, some of them are better than others. I think I don't know how many. I looked the other day actually. There's a few kits that I wore. Obviously, over 5 years, you're going to wear a few kits. I didn't really like the 4-quarter thing. I didn't really like that. The yellow one always stood out as well. That was an Adidas one, wasn't it? I think if I remember rightly. But yeah, I don't know what it was. It was just somewhere when you put that white one on, it just seemed to just. You look at some of the kits back in the day, and everything was like, why do they do them or give us XXXXXXL?
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, it was like just massive all the time.
I always see clips of you and Pate scoring goals, and the shirt's like 3 yards behind you when you're running and stuff.
That's it, yeah. So probably. I think only because it just used to just fit really nice, and when you put it on, you thought, just a feeling when sometimes you put a decent pair of socks on, new socks, or a pair of nice boots, and you just sort of got that feeling with it.
I think you've answered this one already, but I'll do it anyway. Favourite ever Burnley teammate?
It's got to be Wells, really, hasn't it?
ultimately,
Really, I think
yeah.
just from sort of growing up, but yeah, we were growing up together. And, I said if someone's living in your house, then you got to be some kind of good mates, haven't you?
Yeah. Biggest regret?
We talked about a few. There's probably a few. I think again, just is not when I finished football was just not backing myself enough. I think confidence was so low and some dark days, and I think I'm not saying that I'm not saying every footballer, but I've definitely had some real dark, horrible days, and I think when you look back, I just wasted. I brought my kids up, so that was a plus, but I wasted a long period of time of just depression, really quite bad. And you think that is a major regret because I've wasted so many years of not probably learning something new, doing something new, and just carrying on with the football thing and backing myself. I think because confidence was so low. I think that is a massive regret of mine, really. That would be it.
Yeah, fair enough. And your lad is doing a scholarship in New York right now. How's he finding it?
Really good. So he originally went out to Tennessee. He was a bit remote where he was, but he's had some wobbles. But he sort of signed for Worcester cricket, and cricket was his thing, and his mum wanted him to play cricket and whatever, and he didn't want to play cricket. So he said to me one day, "Dad, I don't want to play cricket anymore." I said, "Don't play." I said, "Look, he said, do you think I've got some kind of a chance playing football?" And I just went, "Look, it's going to be hard now if you start trying to break into it again. Like he was always a good player, yeah. So he's like now 20, but he moved out when he was just sort of 18, 19, I think. So he left sort of school and he went out to America, and it was a bit remote. But in the first season, he scored. I think it was the league top scorer, 15 goals. They reached the final of the playoffs that year, but they got beat. But he was number 2 freshman in the whole of the USA for new lads going out there. He was the leading scorer, so he'd obviously given himself a bit of traction. I said, "Well, put yourself on the. There's only so many times you can do it. I think you can only do it once." I said, "Put yourself on the. There's like a circuit or whatever." So he put himself on there, saying he was looking for a move, and a team in just outside New York signed him, and they won the league. They got to the playoffs. They won everything this year. I think he was top goal scorer again, about another 11 goals. He got player of the season. So what he's done in 2 years, he's gone out and done it. He's had some massive wobbles, but what New York's done is his mates. He had a couple of English lads that come. I think one was from Sheffield Wednesday, but he's met a couple of American guys out there. He gets on really well with. The parents are sort of taking him in while he's out there and so on, and he's made his own way, and I'm glad he's made his own way. So he's sort of he's created in a short period of time a bit of a name for himself. I think predominantly if you want to be sort of, I think you have to be 22, 23 to go into the draft sort of system, but he's on the right tracks at the moment because he's a well-known goal scorer already in the limited time that he's been there. So he's and said he's messaging me now. I could check. he's basically like him and his mates have gone on the piss for spring break down in South Florida somewhere. So he's just living a dream, basically. Yeah.
Is he better than you? What you were at 20, 21?
No.
No.
He's good.
Yeah.
And he scores a lot of goals. But I think sometimes he just hasn't. You're not gonna say. I've stayed out of there. I mean, he grew up. He went to Man United. He went to Stoke. His sort of path changed when he went to school. But again, I think you've got to have more than just being good in any level, and you've got to have something inside you that you just really want it. And I'm not saying he does, but it's just. I've probably been too harsh on him, but I've stayed out of their development. I've let them try and find their own ways. I haven't told them, I'm not one of them dads on the side that go, "You need to do this, you need to go that." That's rubbish. They got to find their own way. But I just think sometimes they just lack that little bit of, that just you need that bit of something in there you can't train that. It's either in there or it isn't. Yeah. But he's finding a way. That's the main thing. And I would say there's more opportunity in the US surely than there's got to be here in any probably way that you sort of go. So that's at least he's gone out and done it.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, good luck to him. I hope to see another Cooke name scoring some goals soon. Yeah. But we'll end it there. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Brilliant. Yeah, fully enjoyed that.
Well, like I said at the start, I appreciate you coming on, mate. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Cheers. Thank you.
So there you have it. That's the Andy Cooke interview. Done and dusted. Part 1 and 2. Both done. Both out. You've watched them both, hopefully. Thank you so much for watching or listening, of course, if you listened on the podcast. But yeah, part 1 was received so well. Hopefully part 2 is as well. I know part 2 is a little bit different and does go into his latter career rather than just Burnley. But I do find a lot of that interesting, especially the South Korea stuff, and especially the fact that he nearly came back. You can hear in my voice there when he's mentioning it. I'm like, right. I just didn't know that at all. I'm not sure if it's already out there or not, or I've stumbled upon an exclusive that I didn't even know about. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. Honestly, it means a lot to me. Everyone's saying how much they've enjoyed it and stuff. I've even seen it on Twitter and up the Clarets and Facebook, people comment out, not just underneath the video, people commenting and saying how good it was. So thank you so much. That does mean a lot to me. I'm hoping to do more stuff like that. I just need a space to do it in. I'm not sure that room is going to be available in the future, but fingers crossed I can find somewhere and just keep doing it, because I really did enjoy that. I've got the equipment to do it now. Well, I say I've got the equipment. I did have to borrow a camera and some lighting and stuff like that, but I've got the recording equipment to do it, and hopefully I can, just keep borrowing stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping to do more stuff like that. I have contacted a couple of former pros in the past. Hopefully we can keep going with that, but obviously I know there's other podcasts that do it as well, so I wouldn't want to interview somebody that's just been on another podcast, because kind of pointless and I don't know what more I could add to it. So yeah, fingers crossed I can do more stuff like that. But we'll be back this week for the Chelsea pre-game show. If I find a Chelsea fan, I've not found one yet. I'm sure I could probably find one. And if we don't find a Chelsea fan, I'll just do it on my own anyway, or with one of the lads. And then we'll be back for the full-time show stuff. And then we'll just crack into the fixtures again. And hopefully I can get more stuff like this done either in between or wait till the end of the season. But if you're looking forward to more stuff like that, or you're looking forward to the pre-game stuff, you've not seen it before, maybe you're new on the channel, just hit the subscribe button and then even hit the little bell if you want. And every time you upload a video, you will get a notification. We do 3 podcasts a week. We do the pre-game show podcast, the full-time show podcast, and a relatively new one that is called the Fan Reaction Podcast. So it's not just YouTube that we do, it's podcasts as well. But thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you for the Chelsea match.